Yin's POV. I drank from the glass he gave me. It was a vodka soda with a piece of lime on the side. I glanced up from my cup and noticed Lucifer looking at me with a huge grin on his face. I smiled back. He then looked down for a split second, just to quickly look back up at me, again smiling. I started to make my way closer to him, locking our eyes as I did so. God, I miss this. His eyes gazed down on me lovingly. Our faces were now about an inch apart. We tilted our heads as our lips were about to touch. I secretly grabbed a napkin from the stack behind him, then pulled away fast, lifting my hand up showing him the napkin I pulled, then placing it under my drink before I set it down. The fuck? It was Husk. He was now pacing towards us. I spotted Angel Dust giggling in the background. Ain't no fucking way I'm gonna let you two start making out at my workstation. Lucifer responded proudly, sorry pal, I just had to make this fine lady a drink since no one was here to assist her on her order. I responded to this, Lucy, you know I didn't have an order before you asked me if I wanted a drink. I smirked as I realized the name I called him. God, I haven't said that in forever. He raised his brows, a bit flustered. Husk looked at me disgusted. Look, I don't know, and don't care about any of y'all's past, but for fucking Christ, could you please move from behind the bar so I can do my ass of a job? We shuffled to the side, but once I was out from behind the bar, I immediately was pulled away by an eager Angel Dust. What the fuck was that? He looked side to side across the floor to regain his thoughts. I didn't know you still had it in you toots, you're always so distant when I introduce you to people now. I know I had gotten close to Angel, but I can't always trust him with the information I tell him, and I didn't want Charlie to find out both me and her father lied to her, so I decided to continue to be untruthful. I just find him cute, that's all, now that he's not my boss and I'm no longer embarrassed about him firing me. I couldn't bring myself to look at Angel as I said this, I felt guilty. I agree, he certainly knows how to use that smile of his. Angel bit his bottom lip after he said this. Ha, yeah, I thought of Lucifer for a second. How about we get a drink? I still haven't finished my vodka soda. I looked back hoping Lucifer was still there, but he wasn't. We walked back to the bar and Sir Pinchas joined us. For the next 2 hours, Pinchas, Angel, Husk, and I joked around at the bar. Somehow the conversation went to how short Lucifer was. He isn't that short, I muttered to myself. Angel heard me, that's only cause he's tall enough for your tiny ass. I got slightly offended, but continued to joke around. I'm not tiny either. You guys are just giants, Mr. 8 feet with heels. I singled in on Angel Dust. Sir Pinchas thought for a second then spoke, well, how tall am I? This caused Angel to tilt his head a bit to think. I don't know. Do we start counting at the bottom of your tail or just measure how tall you are standing up? After a while our conversation started to slow down. Realizing we were tired, we parted ways and started to head to our rooms. Me and Angel decided to walk together. Is that really it? You just now find him cute? I could only assume Angel was talking about Lucifer. Yeah, I mean, when I worked for him he made sure to be incredibly stern with all his workers, so I never really got a chance to have any romantic feelings for him, just fear. I finally spoke a bit of truth about the situation, though I would have felt less bad if it didn't end with a lie. He stopped walking since we were in front of his door. Well, good night toots. Good night, I responded, as he closed his door. For some reason when I was walking to my room I could feel something was watching me. I walked faster and quickly tried to open my door, but got distracted by the distant sound of music. My heart started pounding across my chest. I slowly headed towards the sound. It was the faint sound of the violin. I felt like it was speaking to me, alluring me somehow. Suddenly I felt a gush of wind brush by me, a dark cloud of shadows crawled from beneath me and surrounded my vision. Then they swirled to reveal a figure in front of me. It was Alastair. I was used to him by now, but I couldn't help but feel scared from this sudden appearance. What are you doing, Alastair? I just had a few questions for you, that's all, I looked close at his yellow teeth as he said this, gagging in my mouth. I never realized how scary he actually was, especially in a dimly lit hallway with us being the only ones in it. I couldn't help but notice you have a special bond with the devil man. I was shivering as I spoke. It really isn't much, I just worked for him for a little, that all. He seems to really like you, are you sure that's it? He tilted his head smiling. Yes, I'm sure. I stared him in the eyes. I wanted to show him I wasn't scared, but holy fuck, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. The sound of the violin still lingered in the background. He made me realize something. He started walking towards me, backing me into a wall. You do have some sort of appeal to you, dear. This sick fuck, he probably was only coming on to me because he saw me and Lucifer flirting. This was all to get a rise out of Lucifer, take something that he cared about. By now he had both his hands against the wall, trapping me in between. I decided I would play along for my own sake. He continued to speak. How about you give me your soul, I can give you so much in return. I decided to ignore him, letting him continue to lick my neck, then I finally made my move. Oh Luakai! I moaned right in his ear. Alastair backed away, analyzing my smug expression, realizing that he in no way actually seduced me. I was looking up at him with my eyebrows raised and a slight smile. I can tell he felt embarrassed. HHMPH, he let out his last sign of defeat before retreating back to his cloud of shadows. Once he was gone, I could now focus on the sound of the violin. I walked toward it, stopping at what I could assume was Lucifer's door. Before this, I had no idea he was actually going to spend the night at the hotel. Then I sat down with my back leaning against the wall opposite of his door. I closed my eyes, meditating to the sound. Flashback? Lucifer's POV. That sounds like a wonderful idea, beautiful. I made sure to compliment her, better gaining her attention. She started to breathe heavily and continued to look down at my lips, then back at my face. I could see the desperation in her eyes of wanting to kiss me. Though I didn't want it to be that easy for her, nor for me. I wanted to play this out as long as I could. I backed away as our faces were becoming hot, then softly grabbed her hand and led her to Lilith's room. Oh sir, what she was confused when I opened Lilith's door. No, it's fine. Lilith's and I marriage ended long ago, even though by law we're still technically together. But don't you make the laws? Tilda, she snickered as she raised one shoulder. Ha, I guess you were right. So we should have nothing to worry about, Tilda, she lightly gasped as she realized what I was implying. Here, put this on. I handed her a string bikini that was tucked away at the bottom of one of Lilith's drawers. Lilith purposefully never wore it because she knew it was my favorite one. I'll give you some privacy, I'll go wait by the pool. Ryan's POV. He looked back to me before he exited, giving me a slight grin. Though I started to feel a bit guilty as I looked around me, noticing a picture of Lilith carrying baby Charlie on top of the drawer cabinet that Lucifer pulled the swimsuit from. I couldn't tell if what Lucifer was saying about him and Lilith's relationship was true. Working for him, I really didn't try to pay attention to their relationship, but maybe there wasn't anything to pay attention to. At this point I had so many kept up feelings towards him, but I knew I couldn't go through with them if it meant I was ruining a family, especially if it was the most powerful family in hell. I decided to look around Lilith's room. I needed proof. I walked over to her beautiful, I could only assume, hand-carved desk, because of all the intricate vine patterns carved in. I opened the first drawer, only finding writing materials and different types of scented paper. I continued to search and open more drawers. When I reached the final drawer, I noticed a camera case and a box next to it. I lifted the case out so I could better reach the box, noticing that it was too light to have a camera inside. She must have taken it on her trip. I opened the box to find stacks of used film inside. Each of them had a photo of Lilith with someone. On the top of the stack was a photo of Lilith laying in the lap of some muscular dude. The camera was too turned down to see his face, but I could tell it wasn't Lucifer. As I continued to shuffle through, I saw another photo of her kissing some random demon girl, who I found in multiple photos. The rest of the photos were pretty similar to the ones I described, random demons kissing her, close-ups on body parts, etc. I decided I had enough proof and changed into the bikini Lucifer had given me. I walked downstairs, not caring if the other maids noticed me, and they definitely did. Everyone I passed by immediately stopped what they were doing when they saw me. I didn't bother to look at them, but I could only assume their mouths were wide open. When I reached the pool area, I saw Lucifer laying in one of the sun loungers. I took a deep breath and walked up to him, then sat at the end of the chair by his feet. When he noticed me, he propped himself up a bit. "Sir, You don't have to call me that, sir. There's no need." I looked up and gave him a slight smile when he said this, then looked back down and frowned a bit. I was scared of his response to what I was about to tell him. "Lucifer, I have to tell you something, and I'm totally okay if you say no, it's completely understandable." Lucifer sat up when he realized I was being serious. I took a deep breath then continued, "After what happened at my house, you know, the robbery, I really don't feel comfortable going back. I killed one of their men, I just know they're going around the city trying to find me. Even if I stay at a hotel, I know they'll find me. This is the only place I feel safe. I can stay in a pool house if that makes you more comfortable. After all, we don't know when Lilith will come back. Hun, you're sitting next to the king of hell. There's no way I'm gonna let some molesters take even more of what you already lost." He reached his hand to my shoulder and continued, "Don't worry anymore about anything, you can stay with me as long as you want." But what about Lilith? "Lilith's just gonna have to deal with it, isn't she, Tilda?" As he said this, I remembered the photos I saw in her room, so I smirked a little in response. I looked him in the eyes and started to lean forward, forcing him to slowly lean back in his recliner. We were breathing heavily, our faces nearly touching as we moved down. Before Lucifer laid completely on his back, I placed my leg on the other side of him, then allowed my arms to hold some of my weight as I placed them on both sides of him. I was now on top of him. I thought about what Lucifer said about protecting me, then whispered in his ear. "You have no idea how grateful I am for you, Lucifer, how can I thank you?" He didn't give a verbal response, and instead reached his hands to my back, slowly moving down to feel my waist. The warm touch of his hands fluttered by breathing. Looking down on Lucifer, I lowered my head to kiss his neck. I couldn't believe it, I was on top and kissing Lucifer Morningstar, the actual devil himself. His hands were about to reach further down when I quickly got up and ran to the pool, jumping high enough where the splash could reach him. I reached the surface of the pool and whipped my hair behind my face. He couldn't control his wide smile as he spoke, You got me wet." "Same here, Tilda," I blushed from embarrassment, I didn't mean to say that out loud. He snickered and slowly got up from his chair and took off his robe, now walking towards me. I can clearly see the defined musculature of his exposed chest. Goddamn, did he look good. He calmly hopped in the pool and I closed my eyes to not let any water in from the splash. I reopened them when I felt a hand grab my arm. He was now in front of me. We were both breathing heavily, trying to hold ourselves up in the water. He then pulled me closer to himself, and I reached my arms behind his neck. Before I knew it, his lips were touching mine. Our mouths were moving fast, we could hardly breathe as we slowly made our way to a corner of the pool. He was feeling my body and I was feeling his. He touched every part of my upper half and I touched every part of his. He made sure his hands covered my every curve. We stayed like this for a good minute, soaking in every second of it. I could feel his tongue explore my mouth, and I explored his. Suddenly, the pace started to pick up. I couldn't resist myself anymore, I wrapped my legs around his hips, allowing my body to float over him, slowly reaching my hand down to shorts. He then paused for a moment and slightly grabbed that hand and brought it to his lips, kissing it. "No, let's take this slow," he said this softly, as if not to hurt my feelings. I nodded, and he placed his hand to the back of my head and continued to push my face into his. I closed my eyes and moaned. Flashback ended still y/NC POV. I reopened my eyes when I heard the sound of the violin stop. I sighed and got up from where I was sitting across from Lucifer's door. I walked closer to it, about to knock, but then stopped myself. Tears started to fall when I realized the risk. I leaned my head against his door like I did that one drunk day years ago. Then slowly backed away from it and returned to my room.